This is your $2,000 fourth stimulus check and recurring stimulus check update, plus your daily news update, including several new big items that I want to share with you guys today. We're not going to waste any time on this video. We're going to jump right in. But first, I just want to say welcome back to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. And for those who are brand new to the channel, my name is Ron. We cover all things personal finance, investing, cryptocurrencies, stock market updates, and of course, stimulus check updates, as well as stimulus package updates, and just about anything else that our lawmakers may be up to that could certainly impact our lives and our wallets. I will be covering. So if you have not already, join the family, hit the subscribe button, and tap that notification bell that we are notified as soon as I release new videos and updates. And let's go ahead and jump right in. Support for the fourth stimulus check is still alive and well, with 150 economists as well as 21 senators among the supporters of recurring stimulus checks. 21 Democratic senators urged President Biden to deliver recurring direct stimulus checks in a letter. The lawmakers argued that the last federal stimulus check of $1,400 wouldn't be enough to support low-income families through the ongoing crisis. They wrote that these payments, they help families out of poverty, but they also act as an economic stimulus or a boost by increasing spending and supporting jobs. Now is the time for boldness. More than 150 economists, including Jason Furman, former chair of the Council of Economic Advisors under the Obama administration, also supported the idea of recurring direct stimulus payments in an open letter last year. They specifically said regular, lasting direct stimulus payments will boost consumer spending, driving economic recovery and shortening the recession. So that's 156 top economists, 21 senators, 61 House representatives, and almost 3 million petition signatures. Of course, I'm referring to the change.org petition for the $2,000 monthly recurring stimulus checks. And so this thing is certainly not over. And the latest news on the fourth stimulus package is that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is calling House moderates bluff on tanking the $3.5 trillion stimulus package in favor of the $1 trillion bipartisan deal. Nancy Pelosi has told her team on a private call on Monday night, "This is no time for amateur hour. There is no way we can pass these bills unless we do so in the order that we originally planned." She also added, "For the first time, America's children have leverage. I will not surrender that leverage. And since we have that leverage, we may be able to use it to get that fourth stimulus check in there." Remember, guys, it may not be in the bill right now, but there is certainly support for it, and everything is up for negotiations. Why do you think that things are taking so long? It's because of the negotiations. The situation is very similar to how we didn't see a second stimulus check in December until the very last minute, and then all of a sudden, boom, they dropped a $600 stimulus check in there, and then after that, what happened? A third stimulus check followed soon after. Now, let's not forget, these lawmakers are not stupid people, right? They realize the power of the stimulus check. Many people argue that the support of the stimulus check is what really determined the outcomes. Now, I'm willing to bet that the Democrats are just waiting to confirm how much they can actually pass when it comes to wealth and corporate tax hikes. Once they lock that in, then they'll have the wiggle room that they need to include more stimulus, including the crowd favorite, the fourth stimulus check. But what do you guys think? Other stimulus proposals that we are looking into include the stimulus proposal from Rashida Tlaib's Automatic Boost to Communities Act. Now, this one's the very straightforward version. What happens with this one is that every American would actually get a $2,000 fourth stimulus check up front. Then there would be $1,000 in recurring monthly stimulus checks for as long as 1 year after and Tlaib is not giving up on this one. As a matter of fact, she went ahead and pinned it on her Twitter account. Another one is from Representative Ilhan Omar's Guaranteed Income Bill. Now, this would give monthly stimulus checks of $1,200 for adults and $600 for children. Both of these are still on the table. There's actually about 3 or 4 different stimulus-related bills and proposals that are still live and on the table up for negotiation. The House of Representatives will return to Washington as of Monday, so that's going to be setting up the latest test for President Biden's sprawling economic agenda. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi plans to hold a procedural vote as soon as Monday to move forward with a handful of Democratic priorities. The $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure legislation passed by the Senate, the $3.5 trillion Democratic plan to expand the social safety net, and a voting rights bill. She then aims to join the Senate in passing a budget resolution, which is the first step toward the Democrats approving their massive spending plan without a Republican vote. Now, in an effort to keep progressives on board with the smaller infrastructure plan and the centrists in line with trillions more in new spending, Nancy Pelosi has said that she will not take up either economic plan until the Senate passes both of them. Opposition within her own caucus has threatened to derail the speaker's plans, leading Democrats looking for a path forward as they return back to the Capitol. U.S. health officials are now reviewing reports that Moderna ticker symbol, may be linked to a higher risk of rare heart conditions in younger adults than previously thought, 30 according to the paper. The Washington Post report quoted a source saying it was too early for regulators to reach a conclusion and that additional work was needed before any recommendation was made. Adolescent approval of the Moderna has been delayed due to the United States currently reviewing a possible link between them and some side effects. Shares of Moderna stock, ticker symbol MRNA, have been soaring lately, making the maker the top performer in the S&P 500 this year. Now, according to the Washington Post, Moderna's for adolescents has yet to be authorized by federal health officials, in part because they are investigating emerging reports that the shots may be associated with high risks of heart conditions in younger adults than previously believed, according to two people familiar with the review who emphasized the side effects still probably remain very uncommon. The investigation, which does involve the Food and Drug Administration, aka the FDA, and the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, is focusing on Canadian data that suggests that the Moderna may carry a higher risk of myocarditis for young people than the Pfizer BioNTech, especially for males below the age of 30 years old. The authorities are also scrutinizing data from the United States to try to determine whether it is evidence of an increased risk from Moderna in the United States population for this condition, which causes inflammation of the heart. The two people who described the investigation spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss an ongoing review because they were not authorized to discuss it.
Although severe outcomes are incredibly rare in children, the risk ticks up a bit for older children, and particularly teens and tweens. What that means is that if you have children who are under the age of 12, the good news is that they are less likely to have severe outcomes than older children, who are still less likely to have severe outcomes than adults. Children are both capable of becoming infected and capable of transmitting their infections to others. The side effects that have been reported have been largely the same. The Advisory Committee on Practices considered this issue and ultimately concluded that the benefits outweigh the risks. We also have to compare it to the very serious consequences of good news. The threat to your children is lower than you may think. Nonetheless, there are many steps that you can take to continue to protect them. The first thing you can do is we often see in family clusters that the first person infected is an adult. So if you protect the adults in the family, that's less likely you're going to bring home the infection to your children. Your kids can wear masks, particularly when they go to high risk environments. Continue to wash hands and keep physical space from others. For our family, we prioritize exposures that are going to be beneficial to our children. So going to see family and friends who are having them see their friends, bit higher risk because their friends aren't, but really beneficial to them. But I'll probably avoid, indoor crowded play spaces that may not have good ventilation, where there are a lot of strangers that my children don't know. I don't think it should be strictly necessary, but I have no reasons to tell anybody not to be. I think at this point we're all looking to ease worries.
Now, the Delta variant continues to spread quickly across the United States, and people are preparing for their booster shots starting next month. President Biden is sharing the love by shipping the first of the 500 million Pfizer doses that he pledged to donate globally. Now, I know it might not sound like the best idea right now, but hear me out. This could actually turn into more stimulus if we play our cards right, so listen up. So here it is. President Biden is sending 488,000 doses of Pfizer to Rwanda through the global program. 188,000 doses are from the White House's latest purchase, while 300,000 are coming from existing U.S. supply. Assistant Press Secretary Kevin Munoz, he tweeted on Tuesday morning saying, "Today we are shipping over 488,000 doses of Pfizer to Rwanda, including the first 100,000 doses from @POTUS, 500 million shots pledged and purchased this summer. This is just the beginning." Now, Moderna has asked the FDA on June 10th to expand the emergency use of them to adolescents between the ages of 12 and 17 years old, but the agency has not yet granted the request. Pfizer was authorized for 12 to 15-year-olds May 10th, about a month after the company applied. Interesting. Now, one of the people familiar with the review emphasized it's still way too early to reach a conclusion about whether Moderna's carries a higher risk than the Pfizer shot. The person said that the agencies must do additional work before deciding whether to issue any kind of new or revised warning or recommendations about the situation, and said that additional data should be available in the coming days. Now, in June, the FDA actually added a warning label to the Pfizer and Moderna shots both known as mRNA, about increased risk of myocarditis, but emphasized that the itself presents a much greater threat of heart complications than related complications. Basically, what they're saying is from a cardiovascular standpoint, the risk is greater if you actually get the versus actually taking them and comparing those risks. And I quote, "We have not come to a conclusion on this." One of the people familiar with the investigation said, "The data are not slam bang." Clearly, that's not grammatically correct, but I digress. The United Kingdom on Tuesday approved Moderna's for children between the ages of 12 and 17. Moderna, stock ticker symbol mRNA, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Now, what we're seeing here is that the Delta variant gives Democrats a choice to pass more stimulus. Now, of course, we're talking about the mega $3.5 trillion stimulus package. It does cover healthcare, expand at-home care for older adults and people with disabilities, reduce drug prices, allow more people to qualify for healthcare coverage under the Affordable Care Act, both through subsidizing private insurance and through Medicaid. Calls for Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and vision, lower the eligibility age. Some are saying 60 and others are saying that Medicare for all, but we're still confirming on that one. Families, paid sick and medical leave, extension of the new child tax credit and the earned income tax credit for individuals. Now, there is still a possibility of a fourth stimulus check to be added to this $3.5 trillion stimulus package. We have yet to see that. But again, as we covered earlier in this video, as well as in numerous previous videos, there are multiple proposals and bills actively on the table right now. Consumer rebates to encourage clean energy and weatherization in homes. Now, we talked about this one before as one to watch out for. Now, one example we found of a similar program showed moderate income households receiving 50% of their project costs back, up to $4,000 or up to $2,000 for higher income households. There are also rebates for air sealing and insulating their attic or basement. For moderate income customers, a $500 incentive is available per area up to $1,000. Higher income households are eligible for a $250 incentive per area up to $500. A tax increase on high income earners and corporations, something even millionaires and billionaires are asking for themselves. Check out our previous video to know exactly what I'm talking about. Higher taxes for people who make more than $400,000 a year, increase funding for the IRS to boost tax enforcement, remove tax provisions that incentivize outsourcing jobs to other countries. Just last week, Delta cases across the nation averaged nearly 120,000 per day. The last time that was spreading that quickly was in early February, just weeks before a third batch of stimulus checks started going out as part of President Biden's rescue package. So really, Democrats have plenty of reasons to pass the stimulus sooner rather than later. Let me know if I'm making sense here, guys. Now, the latest news on the stimulus package is that House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer is urging rank-and-file Democrats to pass the $3.5 trillion budget resolution, the $1.2 trillion Senate-passed infrastructure package, and a voting rights bill named for the late Representative John Lewis. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also released a Dear Colleague letter saying, "Today, President Biden endorsed the House rule, which will allow us to consider the budget resolution H.R. 4 and the bipartisan infrastructure bill next week. The budget resolution is the key to unlocking the 51 vote privilege of the reconciliation path for our transformative Build Back Better bill. Any delay in passing the budget resolution could threaten our ability to pass the essential legislation through reconciliation." Now, I know that was a lot of stimulus for one video, wasn't it, guys? But did you guys catch all of it? Of course, you can always rewatch this video if you want. These videos are up here forever on the channel, so you can always run them back if you need to. And you should also definitely check out my playlist for a deep dive of your favorite stimulus topics like Social Security. A lot of people have been asking about the $200 raise for SSI. Rental assistance, and of course your fourth stimulus check. So the stimulus is always on point here on the Ron Yates channel as always. But anyway, that's all for your $2,000 fourth stimulus check and recurring stimulus check update plus your daily news update. I really hope that you guys appreciated all of the stimulus goodness that we covered today. And always, thank you guys so much for liking and supporting this video, supporting this channel. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, join the family, and definitely hit that notification bell that way you're notified as soon as I release new videos and content. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care and be safe. Take care and be safe.